have to tell you the answer to number one. All right, the answer to number one is obviously what? Okay, so I want everybody to put x equals 9. And I'm having trouble with my iPad, so I might have to restart it again, but just give me a second. X equals 9. All right, now, how do I get 9 besides knowing that the square root of 9 is 3? How do I do this? What? Say it again. Close. All right, you're close. What? Never mind. 3 squared. There you go. Listen to what I'm saying. I understand. Now listen, when we first started out last year with solving equations, we did addition. And like, how do you do that? I don't understand. All right, well, how do you undo addition? Subtraction. How do you undo subtraction? Addition. How do you undo multiplication? And how do you undo division? And how do you undo a square? How do you undo a square? Square root or radical. All right, so how do you undo a radical? You square. These are called inverse operations. These are called inverse operations. It's now one more tool you have to help solve equations. All right, you now know that square and square root are inverses of each other. Just like if you look on your calculator, you'll notice that the square and the square root are underneath each other because they're inverse functions. If you look at, there's a symbol on their sine, and then there right above that is inverse sine. All right, those are inverses of each other. Cube and cube root, those are inverses of each other. All right, so we're just working backwards. That's all we're doing. So to work backwards, everyone, we're just going to get rid of the square root by doing what? Squaring both sides. We square both sides. So what happens to the square root and the square symbol? They cancel out, like the addition and subtraction cancel out. Like the multiplication and division, they cancel out. All right, so now we have x equals 9. If you know that, then you could probably almost do the whole worksheet. Unless, of course, you forgot how to do some other math. All right, but that's the idea here. All right, so for question number 3, how do I get rid of the square root? Square both sides. Now, again, if you want to leave out that step, I'm perfectly happy with that. If you don't know that, you should write square and square until your brain understands those do what to each other? Cancel out. So now 2x is equal to what? Come on. 16. And so x equals what? So x equals 8. That is correct. What? No, it's like this. 3x equals 12. Divide by 3, divide by 3. You with me? Once you divide by 3, you're performing that operation. That cancels. The square and the square root cancel out. All right? They're inverses of each other. All right? So here we go. Let's check out number 5. All right, a little bit harder because we have a fraction. So 8x equals what?
4/25.
8x equals, thank you. Back to normal now. Feels good. 4/25. Now, how do I get rid of the 8x? Or how do I get rid of the 8? Divide by 8. But because there's a fraction, instead of dividing by 8 and creating a complex fraction, you can say, right, multiply by 1/8. This is still not a calculator problem. Everybody should be able to look at the 4 and the 8 and say that just reduces to a 1 and a 2. So x equals what? 1/50. X equals 1/50. Anybody have any issues so far? What? Come on. No, you're not. You're in math class. We're at St. John's. What's the problem here?
I don't understand, like, you said just square everything.
Yes.
I squared 8x and I got 64.
No. So here's what you're not understanding. So if I say this, if we do the inverse, these two functions cancel out. those two functions cancel out. The square and the square root cancel out. Now, let's say you didn't do that. Let's just, okay, so let's square. So it'd be 64x squared, and then we square root. What's the square root of 64x squared? 8x. You with me?
Yeah.
So I need you to know square and square root cancel each other out. All right, so now that you understand that, we're going to try number 7 and now get number 7 correct. This is how you get smarter if you want. Some of you, I'm not real sure. You're happy with where you're at. All right, because, you know, why get smarter when you know everything already? Here we go. Number 7. Now, what's the problem with number 7? You have to isolate the radical. That is correct. You have to isolate the radical. You can't square both sides. There's a new rule. You have to isolate the radical. So to isolate the radical, I have to do what first? Add 3. You have to add 3. Now, I don't have to put the +3 and +3 anymore. We're just going to write square root of x is equal to 4. And now what? Square both sides. Jolie, and when you square both sides, the square and the square root cancel out. So everybody knows we just have x equals 16. X equals 16. Everybody's good. All right, knock out number 9 now. All right. Now I'm still a little, you know, kind of embarrassed for some. If I said what's 1 minus 2/3, some of you are reaching for a calculator. We're not doing 1 minus 2/3 on a calculator. All right. What is 1 minus 2/3? 1/3. It's embarrassing if you don't know that. Now, if you want me to show you, I really want to show you. All right. 1 minus 2/3. 1 is how many thirds? 3/3. Everybody should be able to do that. Now, if you're sitting there going, everyone in the class knows it except me, you are wrong. I promise you, you're wrong. Just no one else is brave enough to ask. So you ask if you don't know. Is everybody okay with 1 minus 2/3 is 1/3? All right. You'll be ahead of most kids next year if you know that. So now I have square root of x equals 1/3. Now I don't have to do anything because we know the answer is just what? 1/9. That's it. 1/9. Anybody have any questions with that? Now remember, this is what I'm saying. You have to actually do the work. All right, flipping the page. Here we go. What do I have to do to both sides? Nope. Listen, I don't have to multiply both sides by 4 because the radical must be isolated. Is the radical isolated? Yes, it is. All right, the 4 is not outside the radical. It's inside the radical. Therefore, it's isolated. You hear what I'm saying? So what do I have to do to both sides? Square both sides. So I end up with what? Thank you. Wow. Hold up. Let's see if we can get 2 in a row. X over 3 equals what? X over 3 equals what? I'll give you a hint. 4 squared. Shh. Yeah, I heard you hear that from someone else. I'm not giving you credit for that.
I think I deserve that credit.
Okay, now I'm into the division. So you just multiply by 3. Right, now you multiply by 3. So now we know X is what? 48. X is 48.
Oh, so if it's inside.
Yes, we're isolating the radical. That means get the radical by itself. And again, if you look at number 12 and number 11 are exactly the same. So tonight, when you don't know how to do number 12, you can look at what? You can look at number 11. If you don't write yourself good notes on number 11, you might not know how to do number 12. All right, that's what some of you don't understand. Go.
So for the x over 3, you don't
Multiply by 3 first.
like I meant you don't like cancel out. It doesn't cancel.
What?
The radical.
Yes, I squared. the square root. So those things canceled. You with me? And I'm left with x over 3 equals 16. Right? So here we go. Number 13. All right, everybody try 13 now. You try it. All right. Try it on your own and then look up and see how I'm doing. You don't need a calculator for this. All the numbers are small for a reason. Everybody okay with the first step? And so x equals what? X equals 8. Very simple. All right, here we go. Now, for question. No, no, no. What's underneath the radical? That is done after you get rid of the radical. Good question. All right, good question. Now you're learning something. All right, now I need everybody to look at number 15. You have a question on 13?
Yeah.
What?
How did you get 8?
9 minus 1? I squared both sides first.
Don't you have to isolate it?
It is isolated. All right, now everybody look at number 15. Is the square root isolated on 15? No, it's not.
Wait.
There's a what in the way? There's a 5 in front. Well, what does that say? Does it say minus 5 or times 5 or divided by 5? Right, it's multiplying. So how do we undo the multiplication first? Divide. So here you're just going to come down and you're just going to write square root of x plus 1 equals what? 3. Wow. Same. See number 13. All right. Come on, come on. No reason. What? Well, that's 15 divided by 5 is 3. That's what we did. And so now I have, yes, x plus 1 equals 9. So x equals 8. Okay. Now 17. What do I have to do first? Divide by 5 again. So now I have square root 2x plus 1 equals what? 5. Now, how do I undo the radical? Square 2x plus 1 equals what? 25. Now from here, guys, listen, don't do all the work here. Just please write the answer. Right? Come on, everybody. It's embarrassing if you can't look at 2x plus 1 equals 25 and tell me x equals what? 12.
13.
I don't want you to do any.
12.
I just want you to say 25 minus 1 is 24. 24 divided by 2 is 12. That's what I want. All right. And for some of you who are thinkers, listen to me, please. You should be able to look at that entire equation, just stare at it for a second and say, obviously, x is 12. If you understand math, you can just work your way backwards on that. Does everybody agree with me? Dividing by 5 makes it 5. 5 squared, 25. 25 minus 1, 24. 24 divided by 2, 12. All right, they're inverses. You're just working backwards. That's it. All right. So here we go. On 19, what do I have to do first? Add 2. So now square root 5x over 4 equals what? 10.
Why is it not 100?
I haven't squared yet.
Yeah.
Now 5x over 4 equals what? 100. Now, how do I get rid of the fraction?
Times four.
No. Reciprocal. So x equals what? 80. All right. I'm not arguing with you. You can just listen to me. All right, or do it however you want. Shh. Because why? Well, what happens to 4/5 and 5/4? Shh. What do? I'm asking. They cancel out. Very good. What?
So the reason it's down is because you move over the 2 around it, because you're moving the 2 around 4.
I added 2 to both sides to get 10,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And then to undo a square root, I square. So 10 squared is 100,
Yeah.
right? And then she's asking me, I don't know why, but the reciprocal is 4/5. She just didn't realize that 5 and 5 cancel out and 4 and 4 cancel out. So I have to show that step. All right. So here we go. Getting a little bit hard. Okay, come on. Shh, good for you. Come on. What's 100 divided by 5? 100 divided by 5 is not 80. Yes, 20. That's correct. 100 divided by 5 is 20. And then 20 times 4 is 80. You with me on that, right? Now, again, it's totally fine if you're sitting there going, I don't really care about the fractions, so I'm just going to use my calculator. It's okay to use your calculator. Just listen. Don't interrupt. 100 times 4/5. You should be able to do mentally. All right. Practice without a calculator first. That's what I want you to do. And then check yourself with the calculator. That's what you should be doing. Does that make sense? All right, here we go. Let's knock out 21 now. What? Go quick. What? All right.
I got
Oh.
61.
Okay, 21. Here we go. Just do me a favor. Just can I go down the page?
Yeah.
All right. I don't really care about the evens. All right. I'm ignoring you for a reason. I don't care. All right. We're doing the odds. All right. That's what we're doing. Some of you like doing the odds and evens because you want to get your work done. And then you're interrupting me. Now, again, for number 21, is the radical isolated? So I have to do what? Square it. So now you have to be careful. 2x plus 9 over 5 equals what? 9. Now I have to get rid of divided by 5. So that becomes a 45. So 2x plus 9 equals 45. Now, how do I get rid of plus 9? Minus 9. 2x equals 36. So x equals 18. There you have it. That's it. Good. That's for extra practice, just for you. All right. Just for you. It's extra practice. All right. So now on, what?
So why do you multiply by 5? Because
I'm undoing dividing by 5. What would you want me to do? Shh. Shh.
why wouldn't you do it like something like 19 where it's 5x over 4?
What do you want me to do? Shh. Just would you let me talk? What? Do what?
Multiply by 4.
And then what? Divide by. And what is the difference between multiplying by 4 and dividing by 5 and multiplying by 4/5? What is it? What's the difference? Nothing. You're exactly correct. All right. Some people need to do that because they don't understand fractions, but you do. So you multiply by the reciprocal. Now over here, your question was very good The reason why we don't do that over here is because 2/5 and 5/2, the 5 also goes to the 9. Does that make sense? Right? If you want to write this as 2/5 x plus 9/5, that's okay also. But it's just easier to do or to handle the divided by 5. All right, here we go. 23. Again, this is from the test. All right, so I divide by 5. Square root of x equals 3 radical 2. Now, I was hoping everyone could just tell me that's what? What is that answer? Such confidence, which is 18. Thank you. 18 is correct. Now, why do I know it's 18? Because you're squaring the 3 and squaring the radical 2, and then you're multiplying them together. Now, why am I multiplying them together? Because there's a multiplication sign in between them. It's not an addition sign. All right, that's how I'm getting 18. Now, some of you didn't know how to do that on the test or on the quiz yesterday. So you understand now, right? You're squaring them individually. 3 squared is 9. Square root of 2 squared is 2. 9 times 2 is 18. All right, super important. What? All right, here we go. 25. What am I doing first? Squaring. So now I have 2x squared minus 5 equals what? 121. Wow, without a calculator. Come a long way. Now what? Now what?
Plus 5.
2x squared equals 126. And now what? Yep, x squared equals 63. All right, now I do what? Take the square root. All right, now I got a little bit ahead of myself on this worksheet, but that's okay. Take the square root of both sides. All right, so I want everybody to write down. Everybody should be able to tell me the square root of 63. We've done that enough. You should be able to say, Say it again. Wow, 3 radical 7. So everybody to put 3 radical 7, and then I need you to put on your listening ears. All right, 3 radical 7. All right, so listen to me. If I say x squared equals 9, what's the answer? X could equal 3. Is that the only answer?
No.
What else? -3. Right, so listen to me. We talked about quadratics. How many solutions do quadratics have? 2. So in this case, there are 2 solutions. We would say x equals plus or minus 3. Now, the reason I'm bringing that to your attention is because down here, how many solutions would there be? 2. So it's not just positive 3 radical 7, it's what? Plus or minus 3 radical 7. Plus or minus 3 radical 7. I'm listening.
X squared equals 9.
Where did I get I just made it up so I could show you something. What? Come on.
When you wrote x equals positive -3,
That's plus or minus 3 radical 7.
well, you didn't write radical 7.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Just talking about the x plus or minus 3.
Were you listening to what I said? It's kind of like him. He just asked the same exact question you did. Okay, so I went through this. What is this? This is not this over here. I was explaining why there are 2 solutions. This has nothing to do with the problem. Nothing at all to do with the problem.
Okay.
Okay, it was an explanation of why we're doing plus or minus. Quadratics have 2 solutions. All right, so here we go. What do I have to do first here?
No.
Come on, Jolie, no daydreaming.
5/2.
Divide by 2, thank you. So now I have the square root of 3x squared minus 2 equals what? 5. Now what do I do? Square both sides. 3x squared minus 2 equals what? 25. Now what? 3x squared equals what? 27. So x squared equals 9. So x equals, be careful, plus or minus 3. That's perfect. All right, some of you paying attention. It feels kind of nice. All right, plus or minus 3. That's all there is to it. Just working backwards. That's it. Just working backwards. All right, a little bit harder now. What do I have to do to both sides? Square. Please make yourself a note if you're struggling a little bit here. Squaring both sides. So I'm left with 5x squared minus 36. No, equals, say it again, good. 4x what? 4x squared, perfect. Sorry, guys, my pen is just acting up. Okay, now someone's brilliant's got to tell me what? Yep,
Could you just subtract 4 squared?
yep, and then do what? Move the 36, right? So look, see if you agree, Jackson. X squared equals 36. Is everybody okay with x squared equals 36? Now, what can I do to both sides? Square root. So everybody should be able to tell me x equals plus or minus 6. Yes.
How'd you go from that, like,
How did I go from this right here
yeah,
to this right here? Okay, watch and listen. 5x squared minus 4x squared. What's that? And then I moved this over here. So I added 36. Come on now. I don't want you to just say okay if you don't know. You good or not? Okay. So 1x squared equals 36, correct? Then you take the square root. Good. Thank you for joining.
How do you know if it's plus or minus?
Whenever you take the square root of a square, it's plus or minus. Now, how do I remember that? Listen to me. I know what you're saying. I'm just not going to remember that. I totally understand that. And I was the same way. So I learned this. The exponent tells you how many solutions there are. X squared is always going to have what? Always going to have 2 solutions. All right, that's how I remember. All right, x cubed, believe it or not, has what? 3 solutions. That is correct. Always has 3 solutions. All right, here we go. Let's knock out 31. 31 is annoying. Squaring and squaring. Everybody with me on this? Squaring and squaring. All right, now what happens to the left side? What do I get? X squared plus 1 equals, 1 minus x times 1 minus x. There is a middle term here, correct? So it's going to be, what's 1 times 1? 1. Negative x and negative x makes negative 2x. And then negative x times negative x is, say it again, plus x squared. What happens to the x squareds? Cancels, right? So I'm just going to write it. 1 equals 1 minus 2x. What happens to the ones? 0 equals negative 2x. So x equals what? 0. 0 divided by 2 today is 0.
Oh, I added it.
Uh-huh. X equals 0. All right, here we go. 33, let's have some more fun. What am I doing to both sides? Square both sides. Come on, we can do this. Square, square. 3x squared minus 32. Everybody agree with that? So now, come on, Jolie, moving things around again. Your favorite. So do you see 2x squared equals 32? Jolie, do you see that? So x squared equals 16. Hold up a minute, I need to tell you what I want you to do. So x is equal to, people, what?
4.
No,
Plus minus 4.
plus or minus 4. Okay. What? Yeah, okay, I know, I was in a hurry. Listen to me, guys. Hey, hold up, please. Listen to what I'm telling you. All right. We will finish up. However, you're responsible where it says more practice. You're going to do 41 through 64. That's the homework. All right. 41 through 64. That's practice from the test. That's exactly what the test was. All right, Avery.
All right.
Have a great day,
Wait,
kiddo.
wait, I have a question.